so today we're going to focus on the 2-5-1 progression. And what I want to do is I want to break down how you form the 2 chord, the 5 chord, and the 1 chord, how you play them together. And what I want to do is I want to do this for all our beginners, and then also throw in some extra notes in there that will really fatten up your chord and make you sound like a professional and an advanced player. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so in this video I'm going to go through every single key, and I'm actually going to start on the key of C, and I'm going to break down the basic 2 chord, 5 chord, and 1 chord in the key of C, and then I'm going to give you the more advanced chords for this progression, and I'll do that for every single key. Okay, so let's start in the key of C. Okay, so this is the 2 chord, which is D minor. Now when we talk about 2-5-1, this is related to the number system that many musicians use in their playing, whether it's within the church or outside the church. This is a very popular system that many musicians like to use, and I'll be creating another video, separate one, that goes through the number system, and that way it'll give you a better idea of what these numbers really mean. But for now, simply the 2-5-1, it just means that we're using the 2 chord in the C scale, right? The C scale is, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, back to the 1. Alright, so that is your C scale. So we're doing the 2 chord, the 5 chord, and then we're going back to the 1 chord. Alright, so the 2 chord is a minor chord, so we're playing D minor, we're playing G, which is the 5 chord, and then we're playing C, which is the 1 chord. Alright, so just do that again. D on your left hand, on your right you're playing a D, F, A, right? That's the G chord, which is the 5 chord, so G. And then on your left hand, you can put on the bottom a D note, a G note, and then a B. Right? And then we're just going to go back to the 1, which is C on your bass note, or left hand, excuse me, and then on your right hand, C, Sorry, I did different inversion there, which you can do. You can just do different inversions, and I'll be creating a separate video on inversions and what those mean. Inversions, simply put, they really just allow you to move around the keyboard more quickly and more efficiently. Right, so if I'm doing 2, I don't have to do this for my 5 chord, right? I can just do, right? Just moving very closely into the next chord instead of having to move. But I'll do a separate video on inversions and definitely go more in depth on that. Alright? But for now, D, F, A is your D minor, 5, G, D, G, B, and then 1. For this part, I'm going to show you how you can add some more notes to these chords in order to fatten them up and make them sound really nice. Alright, so for this D minor, the 2 chord, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 13 note. Alright, so it's going to sound like this. Right, and all I'm doing is I'm making this a rootless chord. Right, dropping the D, dropping that D, which is the root note. I'm dropping that root note, and I'm playing the 7th chord, dominant 7th chord. So dominant 7th, keeping the 3rd note in the 2 chord, keeping the 5th note in the 2 chord, but then I'm adding the 13 or the 6th note, right? And this all is really tied to the number system, which I will be doing another video on, and that video will really strengthen the information and theory I'm giving you in this one. Alright? So that's D minor. That's the 2 chord. Here's the 5 chord. Right? Very simple. It makes it sound really nice. I'm just adding that dominant 7th. And then what I'll do for the C chord is I will add the 13 again. And I did the very same thing with this 1 chord that I did with the 2 chord. What I did was I dropped the 1 note. I added the major 7th this time though. Not the dominant 7th. I added the major 7th this time. And then I added the 13 on the top. Right? So there you go, that's the key of C. And then let's move on to the key of C sharp or D flat. Alright, so the scale for that is D flat, E flat, F, F sharp, A flat, A sharp or B flat, C, D flat. Alright, so the basic, I'm going to do the basic first and then move on to the more advanced way of playing this chord. Alright, so this is E minor, this is the 2 chord. So it's E flat on your left hand. On your right hand, E, G flat, B flat. The 5 chord is the A flat chord, so you're playing A flat on your left, A flat note on your left hand, and then on your right hand you're doing A flat, E flat, C, and then resolving back to the 1. Right, just D flat, and then on your right hand, D flat, F, A. Right? So alright. And then applying the same notes that we did in the key of C, we're just going to add the 13 and the dominant 7th on that 2 chord. And then on the 5 chord, we're going to do the dominant 7th for the 5 chord, and then on the 1 we're going to resolve on the major 7th, and I'm going to add the 13 as well. Alright, so it's going to sound like that. Alright, so that is here. E flat. Then you have D flat. 5, you have this, A flat left hand, on your right hand you have C, E flat, G flat, A flat, and then you have it resolving back to the 1, which we're doing a major 7th. Right, so we have the rootless chord again, so C. I'm sorry, and this one actually added the 9 as well. Sorry about that. So it's added the dominant 7, just the C. I'm sorry, it's the major 7. Sorry about that. This is the major 7th, the 9 note, the 3 note, the 5, and the 13. Alright, so let's go to the key of D now. Alright, in the key of D, scale is D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Alright? And the 2 is E minor, 5 is A major, and the 1 is D major. Alright, so simply it is E minor, which is E on the left hand. On the right hand, you're playing the E, G, B. Then it's the A major chord. Alright, A major, A on the left hand. On your right hand, C sharp, E, A. And then resolve back to the 1. Right, D, F sharp, A. Alright, and now we're going to add those notes in again, those advanced notes. So, I'm sorry, I'm going to add making this a little fatter. So what I'm doing here is rootless again, E on the left hand, keeping the bass pretty simple. Doing a dominant 7th note, G, A, B, and that C sharp is the 6. Onto the 5 chord. Very simple. It's the A left hand, and on your right hand you're playing the C sharp, E, G, and A. That G is the dominant 7th note. And then resolving back to the 1, making it the major 7th at 13. Alright, so let's go to E flat now. Okay, so in E flat, 1, E, the 2 is F, the 5 is B flat, and the 1 is E flat. Right? F on the bass hand, and on my right hand, F, A, C, B flat, E flat. so that is the basic. Now let's move on to the more advanced, right? So if we're keeping up and we're adding the dominant 7th and the 13th on that 2 chord, it's going to be dominant 7th. We'll make the chord rootless. Right, that's it. So it is F, E flat, A flat, C, add that D note, which is the 13th. 5, by adding that dominant 7th, B flat on the left hand, on your right hand, F, A flat, B flat, D. And then resolve back to the 1, right? Which we're doing a rootless chord, major 7th, adding the 13. You'll hear that a lot in gospel. Just kind of gliding. Right? That's the chord. You could always add a 9 too. It's up to you. Right? So it's E flat on the bass hand. On your right hand, D, G, B flat, C. Alright, so let's move on to the key of E. Alright? So the 2 in E, the key of E is F sharp. Right? F sharp on your bass. Right hand, F sharp, A, C sharp. B is the 5. Right? B on your right hand. D sharp, F sharp, B, and then 1 is E. E on your bass hand, and on your right hand you're doing E, G sharp, B. The more advanced chords in the key of E are F sharp, right? Dominant 7th, F sharp on your left, A on your right, I'm sorry, E, A, C sharp, and then you're going to add that D sharp or E flat, right? It's going to sound like that. B, major, dominant 7th. So B on the right, B on the left. And on your right hand, you're playing D sharp, F sharp, A. And then you're going to resolve to the E major add 13. Right, which is E on your bass hand, and on your right hand you're playing D, G sharp, B, and then C sharp, which is the 13th. Alright, so let's move on to the key of F, right? In the key of F, the 2 is the G minor chord. So on your left hand, you're going to play the G note. On your right hand, G, B flat, D. Now the 5 chord in F is C. So you play C note on your left hand, on your right hand, E, G, C. And then you resolve to the 1, which is F. Right, so F on your left hand, and on your right hand, F, A, C. Alright, so let's move on to coloring this up a little bit. What we can do here is dominant 7th, dominant 7th, and add the 13. Alright, so G on your left hand, and on your right hand, playing the rootless chord again. So you're doing F, B flat, D, E. Right? For the C chord, which is the 5 chord, you can play the dominant 7th chord, right? So C on your left hand, on your right hand you can do E, G, B flat, C. And then resolve to the major 7th at 13, right? Which is F on your left hand, on your right hand,